kind of excited because this is the third part of the bouncy ball. I'm pretty sure we're going to finish this bouncy ball challenge. It's in the Develop in Swift Explorations book. We are now on part 8 of the bouncy ball, and it's on page 249. I'm going to try not to say like 100,000 times like I always do. I will give it a shot. I literally just said okay. Create a complex challenge. For more interesting gameplay, you should include multiple barriers and targets. A possible solution is to add variables such as barrier 2, barrier 3, barrier target 2, target 3, but that's not very practical or flexible. A better solution is to generate your code by maintaining an array of barriers and an array of targets, and make your code more flexible to enable further development. Alright, so we're going to make an array of barriers. I like this. This is a good idea. So, up here at the top, we're going to make this thing, and it's going to be called, I'm going to put the file private thing in there, and then it's going to be a variable called barriers, and it's going to be array of barriers. So of type, I'm sorry, it's an array of shapes, I think it said, shapes, yeah. And I'm just initializing it with an empty array right now. You'll see it's different from this one because this one's called barrier, this one's called barriers. It's going to be a collection of shapes, basically. And the other one we got to do, I think, is, what's the other thing? Targets, right? Targets is the other one. And I think it's also going to be an array of shapes, but we'll take a look. Okay, it also wants us to rename the function from setUpBarrier to addBarrier. And we'll add it all in scope to do that. So I'm just going to Command F and type out setUpBarrier just to find it. Okay, there it is, setUpBarrier. Now I'm going to right click over setUpBarrier, go to Refactor, and rename. It said edit all in scope. That's another way to do it. Editor. Edit all in scope. It's the same thing as renaming, I think. But, okay, so that function is now going to be called addBarrier. Next, add the parameters to the function so you can specify width, height, position, angle. So we want width, height, position, and angle. We're going to go in here inside of the barrier attributes, or the barrier arguments it takes, and they want us to add the width. That's going to be a point type. Height, also point type. Angle, that's going to be a double. What was the last one? Width, height, angle, and position. Okay, keep doing that. And the position. Position's going to be point also. Oh, well, let's see what's a point exactly. So I'm going to click on point. It's a type alias for a CG point. Okay. So it's the CG point, which is just a width and height. Type alias is like when you rename something. So like if you wanted to call a string, what's a body? You can do it like this. So anytime you want to make a new phrase, for instance, you could make it of type what's a body, and it could equal stuff and things. So you can make your own types, you'll see, and it's like type alias is pretty much just calling something else, like nickname for a string is now a what's a body. So in this case, they've nicknamed CG point with point. Yeah, good for them. Good on them, way to go. So at the top, above the function's existing code, add code to create a new barrier and append it to the array. Oh, I see. On the next page, they have this all listed out for us. They also added an extra little descriptor called @position. So the first word is here. I'll show you on my screen here. So instead of position, just position, it's going to be @position. And And what that does is, so inside the function, so the position is going to be position now. Inside the function it's going to be called position, see? But this at is going to be given to the user when you create a new barrier. So it'll be like add barrier with width, height, angle, at, and then you put the position there. So this is like more of a word for the person that's creating the object, and this is the word that you use inside of the function here. It's just for more readability. The angle, we're going to replace that with the angle that we just figured out. So I'm not exactly sure why the width and the height. Oh, I see. The width and the height are going to be the actual width and the height of the barrier, I think. So let's take a look at what they're going to do here. I see. The barrier points stuff. That's why we get the width and the height. So, oops. So let's go back over to our code here, and there's like a target points and funnel points, and here's the barrier points. Okay. So we're going to copy this barrier points thing. I'm actually going to cut it and paste it. Cut is Command X. So a cut does like it deletes it and it copies it to the memory. So Command X will cut it, and then you can Command V and paste it back down. So I'm just going to say let barrier points equal, and then instead of barrier height, barrier width, it's just going to be width and height inside of here. Which means that we actually don't need barrier height anymore. Barrier height's out here. We don't need that anymore because we're going to declare this when we create a new barrier. Now this is yelling at me about something. I'm going to clean this up a little so I can see where the problem lies. So I'm just going to hit enter after each of these just to kind of put them on their own row. It might be a little more readable, and maybe we can figure out why it's yelling at us. I see. So I messed it up here. I messed it up here. These are supposed to be doubles, not points. So these are doubles, then the width and the height should be able to be passed in here. So that was my error. My bad. Then we got to make the barrier's polygon shape according to the instructions in the book, which is let barrier equal polygon shape. I think we already got this up above, but we'll just type it again down here and delete it up above. Points, and the points are just the barrier points we just made. So where is it up here? Here it is. So this is no longer valid. We're creating the barrier inside of here. Let's see if there's any other reference to barrier things up here. There's an array of barriers, that's correct. All this other stuff though, no. In fact, I'm just going to delete it. Okay. Now we got some problems down here. Tackle them in order from top to bottom. The first errors in the setup result from changing the name of the setup barrier and adding parameters. You can call the new function and pass in arguments to set up the identical barrier. Of course, your arguments are probably going to be different from the first ones since you set up the code challenge. So, okay, fine. So let's just take this. Okay. So in the setup here, okay, let's fill this stuff in. Let's make at least one barrier here. We'll make the width to be 80. We'll make the height to be 25. We'll make the angle to be 0.1, and we'll put it at the position, which is going to be a point. Oops, not a CG. It could be a CG point because that's just a type alias, but a point at the XY position of 200 and 140. Let's do 140 there. Okay. So that's one barrier. They said they wanted a bunch of barriers, right? So why don't we add a couple more barriers? But shouldn't we not add these to like the array? I mean, it's adding it to the scene, but shouldn't these barriers get added to an array of barriers? Let's change some of these numbers, shall we? Alright, so I entered in some extra numbers here just randomly, pretty much, and I kept the height the same for them, changed their width a little bit, changed their angle a little bit, and just pick random positions, random points on the screen to drop them. Okay, great. What else do you want, book? There's a missing argument for parameter in et call. Next two errors are caused by our deletion of the barrier constant. Both affected functions need to go through the array of all barriers. Yeah. Well, where's the array? Because we didn't add it to array, did we? Where's the append happening? It wants us to go through the barriers and check stuff, but and then we forgot to append the barriers when they're created. So in the setup here, it goes to the add barrier function. So let's jump to this definition here. Go to the add barrier. Here's the add barrier function that we just made. And it creates the points and makes the barrier and fiddles with it a bit. And then adds to the scene, and then nothing, right? But we actually have to take the array of barriers that we have and append this new barrier to it. So now it's adding it to the list of barriers that we have. That way, when we go to check barriers and stuff, we can iterate through them. And so, like for instance, in this way, we want when you drop the ball for all the barriers to be not draggable. So you can do for each in barriers, each dot is draggable equals false. So maybe we can make it each barrier. That might read a little bit better. There's another place where we got to fix something, right? Yeah. And it's another draggable thing. Okay, so let's just copy this for loop here and paste it here, and then just change this to true. And we're off to the races, as my old boss used to say. Let's click play here, and now we should have the same functionality. We'll just have extra barriers on the screen. All right, cool. Look at my barriers there. Now we can move them around, right? So move each of these around. Once the ball drops, though, I think then you can move the barriers off the balls off the screen, and then you can move them again. So let's see if we can get it to bounce on a couple different barriers. Whoa! Let's try again. Oh. Cool. Look at that. Not bad, yeah. Let's just put this here. Now we're having fun. Oh, interesting how it doesn't always do the exact same thing. Isn't that kind of that's pretty cool coding. I don't know how they did that. It's a work of art. Okay, hit stop so it doesn't tax your processor, and I'm going to delete this print message so we don't need that anymore. We got it working finally. And let's look at the next page. I know the next thing we'll probably have to do is add those, add the targets in. Yeah, so we've added the targets shape already. So we'll change it to add targets, kind of like we did with the add barriers, and then put the target positions in. Okay, so we're doing pretty much the same thing we did for the barriers. This is cool. We've got this, no problem. So instead of setup target, we're going to rename this to add target. Stay on target, add target, and we want it to have at position. It's a point. And then we'll take this position and slam it in here. Right? I'm actually going to undo that, and I'm going to copy this because we kind of went to great lengths to find that little position in space. So I want to save that. So now when we create a new target, then we'll add it to an array of targets. So add the target, and it comes in here, sets the position, does all this cool stuff, and we could actually change the color of each target as we create it too if we wanted to. We could fill color could be something we pass in here. I'm going to do that anyways. I bet you anything will have us do that later. It's like, why not do it now? Okay, so this fill color, and then at the very end here, we're going to take the array of targets and then append this new target that we've just made. The only thing is, see how it's green? That means it's outside of this scope. See, this one's white, this one's green. So the problem is we've still got the target is just chilling out here somewhere. Where is it? Here it is. So I'm going to cut all this out, including the points, and put it in here. There. And get rid of this file private stuff, because it's private to this function anyways. So like this only exists inside the function, and the function is private. So, okay, that is pretty much it, right? Now it's appending the targets. Now we got to add them the same way that we added the new barriers in. So where's that? In the setup, right? Yep. So I fix it, and at the point is going to be point, and I'm pretty sure I just erased the, yeah, oh well. I erased our all of our numbers, but that's fine. We'll just come up with new numbers. And we'll make this one, I don't know, red. So the point is going to have an x coordinate and a y coordinate. Can't remember what it was, so I'll just do 130 and 200. And actually, 111, 222. I want to make sure it's not exactly on one of the barriers, because I can't remember where I put the barriers. Oh, I guess I don't have to remember. They're right here. I'm going to move the funnel down below. Hopefully that doesn't do anything. And the targets here. Okay, so 111, 222. We'll make this one 222, and this one 111. And 10323 and 323. I don't know where that's going to put it, but whatever. And we'll do red, yellow, blue. Not green, because green is the ones you've hit, right? Maybe these are different points or something like that, like different amounts of points you can score when you hit the red one. There you go. We got some targets in there. And, oh, cool. I wonder if I put a block here, if I can deflect this one so it hits the red. Oops, too far over. Almost. So you get the idea, right? You can try to build some kind of game logic where you can kind of bounce this stuff around and try to get it to hit this. Okay, let's see what the book wants next. Okay, so this is the construction of the challenge, and oh gosh, and what they're saying is, you know, let's make the targets not draggable again, or let's make the targets, I'm sorry, draggable again. So I'm actually going to throw maybe a couple more targets in there. And I'm just going to leave these at 333 for now, okay? The reason is because, well, I'll show you in a second. I'll make a couple of these red, some of these red, some of these blue. All right, fine. Targets. Where's the targets? Setup target, add target is right here. Okay. Add target, and we want to make them is draggable true, so we can move them around and figure out where to put them. So this is going to be, I'm going to put the fix me here. Maybe like fix me with a colon afterwards, and the reason I do that is because now when you're looking at the overview, if you do fix me in all caps with a colon after it, and after these two slashes, then it gives it a little flag here, so you can kind of see all your fix me's. There's fix me, there's mark, which is another different thing, so mark is like that, and there's one other one that's like, I can't remember what it is, but whatever, fix me. Okay, so oh yeah. So now we're going to hit play. I'm going to get some paper and a pencil. Actually, I don't have to do that, because like we can just put the code in right here. Okay, so and now I'm going to move this around, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this maybe here and click the drop one. Okay, and then I could see that maybe if I put it right here, maybe it'll hit. Yep, it hits it right there. So this is a good position for the first one. If I click on it, you can see it's negative 2.66, negative 1. So the first one down here when I'm creating the targets is going to be negative 2.66 and negative 1. Okay, so now I'll move on to the next one. So let's make a challenge here for us. Look at the app here, and let's see where the ball goes. Goes there. I wonder if I put a thing here. Actually, let's do this one so it deflects back. Okay, but I'm not liking that. I want it to be interesting. So why don't I just put one here at the very edge there? And you see when I grabbed it, there's another one underneath it because I put them all in the same spot, right? So this is the one that I'm interested in. So if I drop another ball, does it? Yep, it hits it. Okay, great. So this is the second one that I want, which is 243, 498. So let's just do 243, 498. The decimal 0.999. I guess you could do that 0.9 and 0.9. This one is very strange to me. Like, why is it so much different? Oh, I think I know what I did. So I'm tapping on it, and just by tapping on it, tap, 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 it gives us something different. But if you move it and let go, that gives you the coordinates. So these are the coordinates, 145, 617. Okay. Thought that looked a little weird. 145, 647. So don't just tap it when you try to get the coordinates. That gives us some other information. I can't remember what it gives us. Something. Alright, so I went in ahead and added in all these numbers to try to give it kind of a more of a challenging kind of feel. This one, this little barrier is extra, just for kicks. Let's go ahead and run it now that I've added these, and hopefully when we run the app now that we've entered in all these points correctly, hopefully they'll all just be positioned in that spot to start with. Great. Okay, so cool. So now the challenge for the person would be, you know, to put this where it needs to go. I think this one was like this. This one was somehow like this. This one was somehow like this. Anyhow, that's the challenge that they get. Oh no, why did it drop through? I guess it's missing. Oh no, what happened? Restart the app. Maybe I started clicking before it was set, or I don't know what happened. Okay, I'm gonna line this up. Drop. Bounces now. Bounces now. Okay. This one? Bounces. Okay. That one bounced. This one? Alright, so that was just some weird glitch, everyone. So, whatever. Just start it. If it happens that one of your barriers is you can fall through it, then just restart the app, I guess. For now, we'll get into some heavy troubleshooting if this ever comes to fruition. If we want to release something like this in the App Store, then you might want to pay attention to why that happens occasionally, or check to make sure before you start the game that all of your barriers are have physics enabled. Okay, let's look at the book now. Yes, the last thing we got to do is make sure that you can't drag the targets. So we got to go back into the target thing, the add target function, and and we could have gotten there quickly by going like this. Blink. And we're going to fix this to false. Okay. And now all of our fix me's are gone. And let's see here. Keeping score. Okay, part 9, the last part, right? This is the last part. Awesome. So let's figure out a way of keeping score. So I make a variable called hit targets. So we'll check how many targets are hit. So it's going to check this once the ball exits the scene and the game is over. Ball exited the scene is right here. So we're going to make that hit targets there, and then we're going to do a for loop for each target and targets. Now, what are we counting though? Like, did we mark it when they're hit? Oh, interesting. Okay, that's cool. That's not how I would do it, but let's do it that way. If the target color, if the target's fill color is green, I mean, I guess that makes sense because that's the difference between the targets that are hit and not hit. You're just going to check the color. I mean, the only time this would be a real problem is like if your design people are like if your design folks are like, oh, we want to change it from green to light green, then this code will be all messed up because it's checking to see if it's green. So if you change the color of the targets that are hit, that'd be a problem. The fix for that would be you'd centralize this green color somewhere. So whatever. If the hit targets is equal to target count, 1 game. I see. So if you hit all the targets, then you win. So let's go and add that extra little if statement here. So for each of the targets, if the target's fill color is equal to green, the hit targets is incremented. It's added to, and then at the very end you check to see if the hit targets is equal to the target count. So like all of the targets that are available, if you hit them all, you won the game. One thing that sucks about this is we've got to actually to test it, we have to actually win the game. So I might make it a little easier on myself to test it, but let's see if I can do it. Let's move this down a little bit. Okay, I cheated because I forgot to reset the colors, but the 1 game thing happened because everything turned green now. Let's see how we change it back. Basically, I see for the target and targets, then the fill color. So change the fill color back to yellow in this case. I'm gonna. Sounds good. So and all this we should probably put this in its own function. Honestly, like it's weird that it's all in this function here, but that's fine. So for each target, you know what? We're already for looping each target up here, so we'll add it, and then each target the fill color will be set to blue again. And I'm going to change these ones that are red to blue. Yeah. So now it increments the hit targets, and then it changes to blue all at the same time. So I don't have to have that extra bit of code that they had there. So now if I move this, let's see if I get a couple of these. Cool. And see it checked, and then it changed them back to blue. So now you really have to hit them all in order for it to work, which I don't think I can ever do again. I don't know how this one is ever going to get hit. This would be a challenge. You've technically accomplished your goal, but the user won't ever see the console. You should display a message so they get a little jolt of satisfaction when they win. There's a method in shape scene for that named present alert. Oh, that's nice of them. Because it's actually not that easy to present text inside of Swift SpriteKit. I mean, it's not hard, but it's not just like a regular alert view. Present alert. Modify your code in ball exited scene by replacing the first print statement with the following line: scene present alert, you won. Completion alert dismissed. Okay. Okay, cool. They've got a completion handler on this too, which is neat. So I'm going to copy this because I don't have to commit it to memory. And then right underneath 1 game here, I'm going to paste this in and do this and this. And now scene present alert text you won, completion alert dismissed. So alert dismissed doesn't exist yet. So I'm going to make a file private function called alert dismissed. Open close parentheses, open and close curly braces, and then I'm going to print just for myself check to advance, or I'll just put advanced to level 2. So if you were building this app, that's where you dismiss the alert, and when you dismiss the alert, then it will advance you to the next level. All right, let's see if this works. Darn it, I've got to win again. All right. I cheated a little and deleted a couple of those dots. But there's the alert that you're presented with, which is really nice. That's a nice UI alert, actually. So you click OK, and then it says advanced level 2. So in this case, it would reset the screen and drop in all your code for a level 2. Pretty cool. All right, so we did it. That's your Bouncy Ball app from developing Swift Explorations by Apple. Hopefully this tutorial has helped you get through this particular assignment, and until we meet again, happy holiday, happy Halloween if it's Halloween for you. Otherwise, stay safe out there, everyone. And of course, I've got to say, like and subscribe to this channel.